We're on. We're live.
All right.
Hey, everyone.
Amazing. Jen, kick us off.
So obviously we have some fun updates for everyone today. The EverOwn vote to access the EverRise smart contracts has concluded. The 5% tax has now been updated across all of our smart contracts. In addition to that, this is pretty exciting for the folks who have been tracking it closely, but we've also completed the deployment of V1 liquidity and have accumulated over 700 million RISE tokens. So as Suresh said, when we talked about what we would do with V1 liquidity, he will be matching the 700 million RISE tokens in rewards. So we have approximately 1.4 billion RISE tokens that are going to be distributed to stakers. Right now, the dev team is working on finalizing the smart contract for the rewards deployment. And once that's complete, we're going to relock the EverRise smart contracts back into EverOwn, and we'll have more information for you guys on how to claim those rewards from the V1 liquidity pools. So all in all, that is probably, I would say, the biggest update we have for you guys today. As you guys know, over the past couple of weeks, we have onboarded several more projects into the EverRise ecosystem, including Banana Task Force Ape and Cryptoma. And then if you guys were looking at the EverRise website, we have completed deployment of embeds for EverSwap. So this is something that we're now working with all of our partners to get embedded within their own websites. And it's one of the upgrades to EverSwap that we're incredibly excited about. So a lot happening, which is very, very exciting. And then I believe it is a community member's birthday today who does a lot for us. So what do you think, TJ? Is he in here? Let's see.
Happy birthday, Brian.
There he is. Happy birthday, Brian.
Happy birthday, Fish.
Happy birthday, buddy.
He's requested. Look at that. How amazing. I doubt he has a question because Fish has all the answers, but let's hear from him anyways.
Is he going to sing his own birthday song?
Hey, Brian, what's going on? Happy birthday.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
We're doing great, my friend. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I do actually have my birthday song. If you guys would like a song, I can play it for you today.
I mean, it's your birthday. You are such an asset to this community, and there are also no hands raised at the moment. So, Brian, the floor is yours.
Alrighty, so this song is creatively titled An EverRise Birthday. And it goes a little something like this. All I want for my birthday is some EverRise. You don't need to wrap it, I don't need a surprise. I just want a big old bag, maybe with a little name tag that says happy birthday to you, Fish. This bag of EverRise will grant your every wish. All I want for my birthday is some EverRise. You don't need to wrap it, I don't need a surprise. Okay, it doesn't have to be a big pile, any amount will make me smile. Because it's the thought that counts, it's never really about the amount. All I want for my birthday is some EverRise. You don't need to wrap it, I don't need a surprise. All I want for my birthday is some EverRise.
Woo!
Let's go. And that's not a solicitation. I'm good. I'm absolutely happy with my bag. It's just you got to have some fun, right?
Absolutely, and also happy birthday also to Claiborne on YouTube as well. Also a long-term supporter.
Happy birthday, Claiborne.
Happy birthday,
Claiborne. That's awesome.
Oh, so nice, so nice. Brian, if you want to hang up here, that would be great. We did have a request from Danny Crypto. Hey, Danny.
Hey, Danny.
How's everybody doing?
Doing great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good. That's great to hear. It's the first time everybody's heard my voice, I'm assuming.
I do believe so. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Brian. You got a voice docs from Danny.
Happy birthday, kiddo. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the birthday wishes.
Happy birthday.
Danny, do you have a question today, or just wanted to wish Fish a happy birthday?
Just wanted to wish. Yeah.
I love that. No, I love that. I love that a lot.
I appreciate it, man. How are you doing, Danny? How's your day going?
Is Danny having issues in the blockchain? I can't really hear him.
Yeah. The block chicken.
Okay. Danny, are you there?
I am here.
Okay. Cool. How's things with you, man? You good? What made you come up to just to say hello and wish Fish happy birthday? Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, I just wanted to come up, wish Fish a happy birthday, and let everybody know that. You know what? Sometimes things can be tough. But you know what? You got to push through it.
Indeed, it's a big moment to like dox yourself in any capacity. We've all been there up on the stage, and to say like, here I am, everybody, this is what I sound like, this is who I am, and I just want to be a part of the community is just, it takes some strength, it takes some courage, Danny, so thank you for coming up and joining us and for saying what's up to Fish. I know he appreciates it, and we all love all the work you do on Telegram on a daily basis, so just thank you for everything, Danny.
Thank you.
Good point. That's a good point you make there. See, mad respect for Danny for coming up. And
Thank you very much.
And Danny, I'll tell you, you've ripped the Band-Aid off now. It gets easier every time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You'll be singing with us soon.
Yeah? I appreciate that. I appreciate hearing that.
No problem.
Awesome. Thanks, Danny. I had a hand raised from Daniel. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy birthday, Fish. Something pretty cool happened to me today, and it was centered around EverRise. When I first learned about EverRise, like sometime in August of last year, and I started getting involved or like purchasing EverRise. Anyway, I ended up liking the project. I ended up liking everything about it, so I started telling friends and family about it. And I have like a lot of friends that are crypto skeptics or were crypto skeptics. And so I would tell them till my face was blue, and they wouldn't, they wouldn't listen because they didn't care. A couple of days ago, a friend of mine that I had been trying to get into crypto and told him about EverRise, told him about all these other projects that I was into, calls me up and he's like, hey man, you gotta check out this coin. He goes, I started seeing crypto for what it is, and I like it. You gotta check out this coin. You like it? And I was like, what is it? He's like, EverRise, and I was like, bro, really? But I just had to say that because it was like the funniest moment to me, where I was like, I told you that back in August.
That's awesome to hear. Yeah.
It's funny you should say that, because I've actually got a good friend of mine who's pretty much like, he stays on exchanges and he just basically trades on centralized exchanges, doesn't do anything in DeFi. He doesn't like it. And all last year I was saying, dude, get into DeFi, find that though, get into EverRise, like, because he's my friend. I was just trying to say you. No bias, of course. And he was like, no, it's just all shit coins. No, not interested. And it was funny. Earlier this week, he's saying, are you still in EverRise? I don't think he actually understands. I don't think he actually knows that I actually work with EverRise. He was like, I was like, yeah, still got EverRise. And he's like, it's trend. It's on what I'm seeing on CoinMarketCap. I'm like, yeah, come on. It's like it's a legit project. Do your research, Pete, if you're listening.
I love that. I'm also extremely excited and happy and just thrilled to be able to say that if you go on CoinMarketCap right now, EverRise is ranked 386. And as far as I know, this is the highest we've ever been ranked.
Wow, that was loud. Danny, are you okay?
Sorry, guys. Am I still on?
Yeah, we're doing really, really well on CoinMarketCap. Under 400 ranking, which is amazing. And I think a lot of fresh eyes over the last 24, 48 hours have come into the community, and they're looking and they're finding out about the community. A lot of questions being asked, Telegrams been very busy. Twitter's been very busy, and it's TJ, Jen. I mean, Peter. It's really important that we have these spaces every day. So if you are in this room right now and you don't realize, every weekday we do a space at the same time. Do you want to give them the times in Eastern, TJ?
2:00 Eastern, Monday to Friday.
6 p.m. UTC. And it's funny, isn't it? Like
7 p.m. BST.
There you go, Jason. Yeah. The heat wave is finally wrapping down in England, Jason, and the rest of the...
I don't know about that.
One more day, Jason, 24 hours, and you will be cool as a cucumber. But it's funny, right? When you spread the word like this, when you keep telling people about something you like or enjoy, not even crypto, the more you put it out into the universe, the more likely it is that your friends will come back and think it's their own idea. They'll be like, hey, by the way, guys, just what I just heard of. But that's what we do. That's our marketing over at EverRise. We talk, we educate, we build communities, we build friendships and relationships, and then before you know it, the community grows. So it's great to hear your story, Daniel. And Jason, I'm not surprised to hear your friend as well was like, oh, yeah, look at that. Looky here.
It's just funny, like, how people can get kind of blinkered over an opinion without even, like, trying it out. Like, without even, like, going into DeFi and experiencing what DeFi is. And then all of a sudden they find out on CoinMarketCap or something like that, or a news post. They're like, oh, I'm going to be interested now, and I'm going to treat it as a legitimate project. It's weird how I guess some of the maxis out there, some of the Bitcoin maxis, again, kind of have that whole us and them sort of mentality. And I just think it just really doesn't have to be that way. And it was a really good, like, test, like a litmus test almost, like, to kind of see where we are with the market, see where we are with DeFi. The fact that my friend Pete said to me, I'm hearing about this EverRise, and I'm thinking of looking into it. And I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, and then I said, well, that I'm a part of the project. And he's like, because when I told him about it last year, I haven't spoken to him that often, but it was when I was first discovering about EverRise. So yeah, we haven't spoken since about it. So it's just weird how it full circle comes around, and it's him now talking to me about it as opposed to me telling him about it. I just love it.
But it's kind of funny. It's the biggest, like, I guess, drawback or thing that people worry about with crypto, which is what most of my friends would tell me, including him, was, yeah, it sounds great, but you can lose a lot of money because there's no security. They rug pull, they take your money, and I'm over here like, that's what this EverRise is trying to stop. It's a security feature. And they're like, whatever. And so now they're coming back and they're like, it's really cool. And I'm like, well, welcome aboard.
Yeah, and the funny thing is as well, like, the market's been tough for everybody, and like his portfolio was like basically the top 10 coins, right? And the top 10 coins have not been doing that great, like, since the drop in December of last year. They've just been going down. So I think it's opened his eyes to the fact that there is definitely an alternative to just the top 10 coins out there. And I want to see more of that. I want to see more people that are on exchanges that haven't ventured into DeFi to look at DeFi as being a legitimate, place where you can go and safely invest in projects that you trust, projects that are building stuff that are needed, solutions that are needed not only within DeFi, but also outside of DeFi also as well. So the blockchain and all of the applications on it are going to be very important in the future. And, I know it sounds really cliche, but, we are very early. Like, I'm going to say that much. We are very early in terms of what's being built and where the direction of DeFi and blockchain is going.
Well, and, Jason, I think, like, to add on to your point, I think something that's really interesting, and, like, granted, like, yes, the market has been incredibly turbulent over the past several months, but we're starting to see more, like, CeFi institutions, right? Like the blaring problems with CeFi institutions between, like, Voyager, Celsius, and all of these other, borrowing and lending protocols. I think, like, at the beginning, it's great because people are like, oh, like, this is a middle ground between, like, DeFi and CeFi, and I can still do all of these things with crypto. I can still, earn, but it wasn't fully on the blockchain because there was a centralized entity, still kind of being the middleman there. And I think like because of the collapses that we're seeing across these larger CeFi organizations, it's actually making a bigger case for DeFi. Like I have friends who I've been telling, I was like, hey, if you're just like looking to purchase crypto and hold, make sure you get it into like a Trust wallet or a MetaMask, like a wallet that you're in full control of. And they were like, yeah, Jen, like, okay, sure. And that was months ago. That was like at some point last year. And now I've had several friends reach out to me being like, how do I move my assets off? And like some of them are buying crypto on things like Robinhood and like other exchanges like Coinbase. And it's kind of like I've been walking them through the steps, but I was like, this is why DeFi is so cool. Because like if the crypto sits within your wallet, you own this crypto outright. You're not relying on a middleman. And so I think people are starting to understand that more and more, especially folks that don't have a whole lot of experience outside of like centralized organizations. So even though it's like happening during a turbulent market and market conditions are a little rough, like I think people are starting to open up their eyes to like the beauty that is DeFi. So
100%.
massive steps still being made.
100%. You hit the nail on the head there. I mean, a lot of the spotlight has been on CeFi, the dangers of keeping your money in a centralized custodial wallet. And, a question in the YouTube chat just a moment ago regarding doing a video on how to store EverRise on a hardware wallet. I mean, I could go out and buy a new hardware wallet and do a video on that for you on one of the Wednesday videos. That's not an issue. I can do that. Because I believe, I don't need another hardware wallet, but I believe in helping others understand the processes involved, because it's not always straightforward for people that are new to the space to kind of take in all this information, especially if they're visual learners. Having like just getting a safe power wallet, getting it through the post, going through all the checks you need to do to make sure it's not been tampered with, getting it set up and doing it on stream. I think that's a great idea, and I'll look into doing that for you. If we can encourage people to move their assets off of exchanges, if they're looking to stay in crypto, then I see that as a big benefit to them and for the space, because DeFi is a great place and more people should experience it for what it is.
Yeah, Jason, I mean, 100%. And that is kind of one of the central theses about DeFi is, we all have a certain sympathy for those people who keep their cash under their mattress or somewhere safe at home because they're like, nobody can touch this except me. This is mine. The only problem with that is that there's no possibility of ever engaging with any kind of rate of return. So DeFi aims to be, in my view, the best of both worlds, where it's fully self-custodial, but there is the opportunity to engage with things like the EverRise staking lab, where Suresh has built out a system where, based upon volume, users can hope for a certain amount of return. And of course, EverRise, one of the reasons I'm proud to be associated with EverRise is we're not out here promising those 15% returns that some of those centralized institutions found to be unsustainable. And they collapsed because they just simply couldn't get the money from somewhere else. So as we look for our various DeFi protocols and projects that we like to be associated with, look for those ones that enable self-custody, full dominion over your own assets, but are also outlining a sensible strategy for growth and for making your assets work for themselves. So it's that kind of through line between keeping your money under your pillow, but also putting it to work for you. So, these kinds of projects will become more common over time. And eventually, the exchanges, I hope, will figure out that they can't offer 15 to 20% APY. It just is a little bit too aggressive. The money has to come from somewhere. And we see what happens when entities get a little too aggressive. I'd love to answer more questions, TJ and Jen and Jason, but I don't see any requests here on Twitter Spaces. The Discord has got no questions. What do we got on YouTube? Anything?
Not much in terms of questions, just mainly comments. Obviously excited about the V1 liquidity, 1.4 billion rise to stakers, which is amazing. Getting excited about the upcoming DApps. But yeah, you're right. And apparently there's another birthday in the chat. So hello, happy birthday to I can't read his name, sorry. It's gone. So happy birthday to you if you're watching on YouTube still. Oh, I think TJ may have disconnected. I think TJ may have disconnected. We're just going to get back up. Give me 1 second.
TJ must be having connectivity issues.
Yeah, it looks like that. I could switch over and start the space up again if he's not there.
I think you probably should. Don't know when he might be Rogers down again, you know?
Okay. I'll just get it all set up. Apologies, people watching on YouTube. We just got a technical issue.
YouTube stream is still live though, huh, Jason?
Yeah. YouTube's fine.
Oh, yeah, YouTube. That there's the benefits of cross-platform integration.
They can hear you too, so
good to know. Good to know. Sure, very good to know.
Right, the space is back up.
Okay, wonderful. See y'all on Twitter.
Yep. Jen, just make sure you mute on. Hello, everybody. I think TJ may have had a hiccup with his internet, so we've just reopened the space. Apologies for the technical issue, but I see people are rejoining now.
Hey, everyone. Technical difficulties.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Remember to request if you want to come up and chat with us, guys. We love answering questions, don't we, Jen?
All day, every day.
Since nobody's coming up, I'll ask the panel, you know, what are you guys most excited about for the next 6 months in the second half of the year?
Oh. Do you want me to go first, Jen?
Yeah, you go first. I need to think about that. There's so much coming down the funnel that I'm trying to think of, like, how do we narrow this, you know?
I'm most excited about this really is a tough one. From a personal point of view, I would say EverWallet. EverWallet is going to be a massive improvement in wallet security. It's going to allow me greater control over what's held within it, and the features that I hope are going to be looked at that may or may not be coming, I think are going to be game changing. So that's me.
Good one. Are you ready, Jen?
No, Peter, you go.
I'm ready. Sure. I'm ready. I listen, like, when we go around to various spaces and in other communities, EverRevoke is just such an easy thing to explain and so necessary. For anyone that doesn't know what EverRevoke is, it's a system whereby you can revoke all outstanding token and NFT approvals in your wallet. Anytime you engage with a smart contract, that contract needs approval to go into your wallet and take stuff out. It's a simple process to get rid of that approval, but people don't do it. So I'm excited to see the continuing adoption of EverRevoke, and thereby the brand association with EverRise. I think that we could really, really start to see people just who haven't even necessarily heard of EverRise itself coming upon that DApp and being like, hold up, let me take a look here and see what's going on. So I'm excited to see continuing adoption there. I know TJ's got a lot of marketing campaigns promised and pledged. So it's going to be super exciting to see what happens in the coming months there for me.
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, the more and more I think about it, I feel like for me it's EverLaunch. And I know, like, this is the next D app that we're kind of focused on getting out into the market. But I think about, you know, I've been messing around a lot with this term of, like, indie Web3 builders. And these are builders that are coming into Web3 that may not have, like, a ton of experience in coding Solidity or coding in general, because, like, we see so many smaller communities pop up, whether that's to support, like healthcare, or it's to support arts, or it's to make films. Like we're starting to see like things like decentralized filmmaking, decentralized music making and music producing. And so I think like EverLaunch will actually be a really great funnel for folks that are still in Web 2, that are looking to make a transition over into Web 3, where, they'll be able to deploy a smart contract and launch a token, whether that's from templates or utilizing, their own custom code if they end up finding like a developer that they kind of want to bring into the ropes. But once projects come in through the EverLaunch funnel, like all of a sudden they're going to just have a suite of infrastructure dApps that are already built and ready to go for integration. And I think that's really exciting. Like once we have EverLaunch, I feel like we're going to see our ecosystem really come full circle and see how the ecosystem continues to feed itself, as well as bring new people into the space in a way that's like meaningful and secure, and providing users with a safe way to transact with these dApps. So I think like I was thinking about it more and more. I'm like, that's probably what I'm the most excited about, because I think it'll prove out a big part of our thesis as a company once it's live.
Damn, Jen, that was an impressive overview.
Yeah.
I can definitely tell that you've been speaking to VCs.
That's the best answer. But well done, gold star.
Oh,
Absolutely. Knocked out the park there.
You're right, though, because, okay, so there's different builders in Web3, right? There's builders like Suresh and Ben who are technical masterminds, who have a clear vision, who knew how to start the project and are all about it. But as Web3 takes over, it's going to be a significant part of the market is people that just have basically an entrepreneurial mindset and a good idea. And it's going to be kind of the norm to say, well, okay, have you tokenized yet? Or have you launched a smart contract yet? And that is a massive market that doesn't even exist, but it's starting to grow. And so, Jen, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of the corners of the world that EverRise might reach with EverLaunch. So no disagreements there. TJ, are you up on the stage? Are you around, or what's up?
No, I'm here. I'm just trying to fix my internet, guys. I apologize. I take full responsibility for the space crash.
Hey, no sweat, man. It's all good.
All good. And there's a question in Discord that I would love to tackle.
Let's do questions, because it's 2:30.
Right. Well, we haven't been getting them, but Pancakes on the Discord asks, is the 5% tax rate expected to be stable for a while, or does the team see that lowering over time? I think the answer there, and I don't want to speak for Suresh, but that decision is now pretty much in the hands of the community. EverRise is proud to have taken that final step of getting rid of that marketing and business sustainability tax, such that no operations are driven by the tax at all. So now the tax exists only to sustain the reserve liquidity pools or Krakens. And so the amount that goes into those is kind of for the community to decide. I'll give you some inside information here at EverRise. We thought about getting rid of the marketing tax and thought about just saying, well, let's go down to 4%, because that brings us closer to being, a taxless token. But we also realized there's still plenty of appetite for Kraken rewards, and 5% seemed like the sweet spot. But over time, as people crunch the numbers and as EverRise as a DeFi protocol evolves, I expect we'll see a lot of spirited discussions among the community about what the right number is. And if the community decides we want 4%, we want 0%, and derive our Kraken revenue elsewhere, and here's how it's going to happen, these kinds of things, don't sleep on the power of the community over the years, because there's a lot of smart people in it, and there's going to be a lot of ways to generate value, and a lot of ways to look at that tax going forward. I think right now, most people are happy with the number 5, but the control of that number no longer rests with a centralized entity, in my view.
Yeah, a perfect answer. I mean, I kind of look at the Rise token as decoupled now, decoupled from EverRise as the centralized entity, as the corporate entity, and obviously the views of the community are what matter, right? So if we want to propose any changes to the tax, that has to go through the community via Everown, and obviously as we go forward and we make additional improvements to things like the voting structure and things like that, we'll be able to have a lot more, votes on things. That's how I see things in the future for this token. And absolutely, if the community want it, and they vote it in great numbers for it, then that's what will happen.
I actually, I do see a few questions on YouTube as I was just scrolling around, so wanted to address them very quickly. One, anyone have a rough timeline on when the VC rounds will close? Like we said, we're not going to disclose any details until the round has closed, and unfortunately, along with that, I can't give timelines. The second question was actually regarding the V1 liquidity and how that's going to be distributed. So this is from Plankton 2.0. Question regarding the V1 liquidity, I assumed it was going to be the Kraken to be paid out as per usual payouts, but Jen mentioned that there would be further instructions in the future on how to claim it. Can we explain more on that? So if you guys actually go back into our blog post, we published two about the plans when the V1 liquidity unlocks. We have one blog post that kind of gives you high level basics and a second blog post that actually breaks down the technicals with all the math and the various distributions. But essentially, since we have accumulated about 700 million rise from the V1 liquidity, Suresh is going to match that amount. We're going to take the 1.4 billion rise and put it into a smart contract. I'm going to read this from the blog post itself. This is from the basics. Since we have expanded to 4 new blockchains since launching last June, the rise will be distributed amongst all stakers proportionally to their staked amount compared to the total amount staked across all chains. Essentially, for this distribution, it will not matter which chain you are staked on. To do this, each chain will have an amount to distribute equal to its share of staked tokens. If 60% of RISE tokens are staked on BNB chain, 60% of rewards will be distributed on BNB chain. We are going to be utilizing a quadratic distribution of the RISE tokens. There will be math involved, which you could read more about in the technical breakdown. But basically, the amount distributed each day will increase until the targeted end date, approximately 480 days after the start of distribution. So to sum that up a little bit, essentially, we're going to take the rise that we got from the V1 liquidity, paired with the rise that Suresh will be matching. We're going to put it into a smart contract, and that smart contract will handle the distribution of rewards to each chain. The way we're setting it up is that stakers that have either 1,000 unstaked rise or an OG holder pass migration or staking NFT will be able to distribute the function, or will be able to trigger the function, which will trigger the distribution of rewards on each of those chains. The smart contract for that is still being finalized, so expect another blog post around the time that we start distributing rewards that will break this down in much more depth, so that way you guys have complete visibility into all of that stuff.
Yeah, so Kraken's getting a big brother, everybody.
Yeah, well said, both of you guys. Yeah, there's no... The Kraken itself took a rest on this one. It's just an entirely different model of distribution. The V1 liquidity went straight into the primary liquidity pools and not into the secondary ones. So that's why there needs to be a different method. And Jen, you did a great job of explaining what that method is going to be. We have a new speaker on the stage, Sahil. What's up?
Hello, Sahil. Just need to unmute your microphone in the bottom left. Okay, Sahil may be having some technical issues there. Feel free to say hello when you are able to unmute your mic. I don't see any other questions on YouTube. Anything in Discord?
While we're waiting, I'll just jump in and say that when we get that contract address, I can promise you guys I'll start building some kind of little tool to track that, of course, because it's exciting. This is all very exciting to me. So I'll be building something.
Are you going to plug it into your Raspberry Pi?
Of course, you know, it'll be on the Raspberry Pi, so there'll be all kinds of fun stuff that'll happen.
Very good.
Scott.
Sorry, I got a little bit of a delay there. I assume you hear me okay, though.
Yes.
Sure do.
How you doing, my man?
Hey, I'm doing awesome. It's an exciting day to get to watch the growth happen before your own eyes. So I got a bit of a geek question. You guys know I love EverStats. Can you tell me with the EverSwap volume what time frame that represents?
As far as I know, that's every transaction on EverSwap across all tokens that has ever happened.
That's a total volume. So it wouldn't really go red ever then. It would just keep continuing to build.
The only reason it would go red is because it's measured on USDT. So the token values that have been swapped go down, then the USDT value that we're tracking it with would also go down, if that makes sense. But
it does. What a fun number to watch too. I mean, it's 11.5 million roughly, and it's just and you guys built that from scratch, and it's basically its own DEX. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch. You guys are doing an awesome job. You're just rocking it in everything that you do. So well done.
Thank you. And I did want to call something out, Scott. So if you actually open up the stats page and scroll a little bit further down to the first chunk of data set, you can actually see the DApp EverSwap volume per chain in natives. So you can see on BNB, we've transacted over 20,000 BNB. On ETH, we've transacted about 2,900 ETH. Just to give you an idea, if you wanted to do some math of what's that number if it was all-time high for BNB or whatever it is.
Cool. Hey, Jen, while I've got you, are there tools that you use or can use where you maybe track impressions on different social media platforms like Twitter versus Telegram, so on and so forth?
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of tools that we're utilizing. So within Twitter itself, there is a pretty decent analytics tool, but then we have another tool called Tweetbinder. TJ has the entire team on a social media platform now called Buffer, where you're actually able to see insights through that and get link clicks and link tracks as well. So that's kind of what we're using, and obviously Google Analytics for all things related to the website, so we can see what pages people are clicking on, what buttons they're clicking on. There's going to be a lot of optimizations to the website that we're going to just be doing over the next couple of months. So if you guys ever click on there, you might see some new copy and us testing a few things out.
So as you're marketing basically. So is there an area or one of these platforms where us as a community could maybe step it up a little bit? Everybody's doing a great job, but take Telegram, for instance. I look at Telegram, I'm an old dude, and it just looks like the devs never finished it. It's just not appealing to me. I look at it, it's so I don't use Telegram a lot because it doesn't appeal to me. Twitter, a little bit more appealing. So, but is there a platform where maybe we could step it up a little bit? Or Discord, okay.
Yeah, I if you don't like the hustle and bustle of Telegram, then a lot of people prefer Discord to it, and we've got a growing Discord community. It's a lot smaller than our Telegram community, but there's a lot of great information, and it's all conveniently split out over threads, it's a lot more organized than Telegram in terms of the community member. Again, big shout out to Discord. I think we should probably shout it out more often. If you're part of the Telegram, jump into the Discord also. It could be a secondary avenue for you to get information regarding EverRise. Certainly community member information, like Race Lynn, for example, is in there, who's basically tracking everything that's going on, with the wallets, with the buybacks, everything. All the information is being collated in there. It's really interesting for a lot of the everyday holders. So consider joining it.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Jason. That actually helps a lot. So I'll check that out. Before I drop down, just another comment. I don't know how many projects, because some projects have more than one token, but I don't know how many projects are on the Binance Smart Chain, but it's over 500. And, we're constantly up there recently in the top 100. So I think this is just a huge accomplishment. Just a big round of applause to you guys. So well done.
Thanks, Scott. I do want to add real quick, where else can you find EverRise? The answer is Instagram, TikTok, Reddit. We are everywhere. Obviously, Twitter is, the central hub for all things DeFi. The majority of DeFi news and action is spread on this platform. However, we do have a presence on TikTok, on Instagram, on Reddit. So if you are in the EverRise community, please follow us on, I was going to say all chains because that has become such an integral part of my vocabulary, but please follow us on all social platforms.
Yeah, and even if like you don't use them that often, like follow us on there if you can, if you want to support us, because obviously as we grow these platforms, more eyes will be attracted to them, and we can get our message out to more people. And that message is what, TJ?
That we are here to stay and we're here to protect DeFi and build infrastructure so that when mass adoption comes, the tools are already in place.
And educate. That's the main
and
thing.
Educate, excuse me.
Absolutely. And that's it. That people often say, you know, what can I do to help the project? You know, and I think the biggest thing that you can do as an individual is to follow all of our social media, and on the odd occasion just share and like a few of the stuff that we post. If everybody did that, you know, once a day, twice a day, then the whole like of these platforms will start being lit up with EverRise. And if more eyes on EverRise can only be a good thing, right, guys?
Without a doubt. And might I add, you know, while we're on the topic, real quick before we get to Sean, every time, you know, we don't tweet that many times a day. It's probably like 6 to 8 or tweets that we put out a day, and then we retweet. There are tons of tweets that we could potentially retweet. There's a lot that we could say, but everything that we do is curated responsibly. So if there is anything that we put out, the best thing that you can do is just engage. A simple like and a simple retweet. Get the numbers up, because when new, you know, potential community members come to our pages and see higher numbers, obviously it looks good, and you know, we're doing a lot more behind the scenes and building real utility. But social media for a lot of people right now and a lot of retail investors is a big indicator of, does this project look serious or not? You know, very proud to say that our social media accounts do look very serious, and you know, I think I can speak on behalf of the entire team that we're all very proud. But just constantly engage. That's it. Just engage, show presence, show that you're around, show that our community is active. You know, I had a conversation with I'm not going to say who, but I had a conversation with someone we've been trying to get in touch with this morning. And if you've been in the daily spaces, you might know what I'm talking about. But the one thing that they said to me, he goes, your social media presence is incredibly impressive. So keep it up, because it does go a long way. And if you think that you're just one person and one like, one retweet doesn't matter, don't fall victim to the bystander effect. It does matter, and I can promise you that. And every single time that I talk to, you know, someone we've been trying to get in touch with, it comes up all the time. And that is nothing, we can't take credit for that as a team. That is something the community has to own and continue to do. So keep it up. And I see all the applause is going on. I love it. I love it. Sean, what's going on?
What's going on? EverRise for EverRise, man. What's up? What's up? So I just want to say that, you know, you took the words out of my mouth. I was going to say that, you know, for those that are not tweeting about EverRise, at least, you know, like it, retweet it. You know, that definitely helps out with the community as well, builds that awareness, you know. But other than that, I still have to say EverRise is still the greatest project that I know. Best in security, you know. I don't know. I have a question, and it just, you know, regards to the wallet, and it's sort of an idea, but I'm not sure if you guys are already trying to do that, you know. So for the Ever wallet, is it possible to create a wallet, your first wallet, which is the wallet, your main wallet, which will be every time you log into using the same the word phrases, that main wallet gets notified that you're logging into your wallet in a different device. And then in case that situation happens, you're able to use your main device to cancel or approve that login.
I love that idea. However, I don't know the answer to that. And I suspect you're just basically reading information at that point. You're not actually doing anything. I don't know. Jen, Peter, TJ, do you know? If not, we can speak to Ben maybe.
No, I think this is like an idea that, you know, will funnel to the dev team, because I know they're still looking at a couple of different things for Ever Wallet, even though like right now we're kind of focused on Ever Launch and, you know, porting the rest of our DApps over to the new UX UI. So I think there is definitely still some flexibility here, and I think that's an interesting idea. It would be cool to see, you know, how we can pull that off, leveraging smart contracts and the blockchain and whatnot.
Yeah. And like going forward, it's important to remember that like we're going to be very like careful with what information we put out regarding our apps in terms of the features that are going to be on them. So, all I'll say is, like, we've had some really good suggestions over the last, well, since the projects began, to be honest, we've had some really amazing suggestions across all of our apps. And we do take on board those suggestions and implement them when we can. But yeah, just if you're interested about EverLaunch and EverWallet, don't feel bad that we can't always confirm or deny things at this stage, because we're still much in the development process of the apps.
The last thing I would add to that is that, to the best of my knowledge, and things could change, and a lot of it is still kind of hush-hush right now, but EverWallet is meant to be an add-on to existing wallets, so interfacing with Trust or MetaMask. So the protective layer comes not necessarily by, when someone else uses your seed phrase, so much as, like, when they use that seed phrase, there will be a second layer of authentication that they'll have to engage with. But then actually having that final resort to say, like, oh, look, someone is trying to crack your password, here's a login. We see it on Google all the time. Like, you're in a new device in a new place, and it's like, is this you? Go to YouTube or whatever and log in. So that's a really cool idea, Sean, and it's certainly going to get bubbled up to the team. So thanks for saying.
Very cool.
There's a question in the Rise trend analysis channel on Telegram, the TA channel, that I promised to answer. It is, why are we pumping right now? And, the market is doing very, very well, as we can see. And, that always feels better than when the market is going down. But I'm of the view that when things are going up or down, it's extremely hard to identify a root cause. Causation is a multifaceted thing. And there's 1,000,001 reasons why one particular Bitcoin short might have gotten liquidated, and then kind of created a butterfly effect where all of a sudden FOMO and consolidation and the rest of it happened. So market fluctuations are something that are fun to look at, but in my view, they're impossible to track and impossible to identify a reason for them. So one reason for the long-term success of any project is going to be its own longevity. And to the extent we are early in a space, we are still very much in a survive and thrive mode. So if your project is set up for 10 to 20, 50 years, if your project is staffed by people of, present company, on the stage, like people that you trust and people that you believe are talented, then over time, things will happen. But as to why the price is going up on any particular asset, whether it's EverRise, Bitcoin, Avalanche, Phantom, who the hell knows? I got no idea. Sorry.
Well, human beings are very, like, curious animals, right? They always have to find reasons for things, and I guess it kind of extends to the market doing what the market does. Sorry, Jen.
Well, no. Like, look, the market's going to do what the market's going to do, but I think this is, like, if you guys look at our stats page, right? Like, our volume is up a little bit, which is great, but I think the more interesting stat to look at is actually how much Rise tokens do we have in liquidity and how many native coins do we have in liquidity. When we went multi-chain, it was very important for us to have balanced liquidity pools, meaning like 50% Rise, 50% native. And then if, like, you look at our BNB liquidity pool, I'm looking at it right now, there's about 1,600 BNB in there. We almost have 300 ETH. We have about 533,000 Matic. Like, our liquidity pools are insanely healthy. And because we are a token that is paired with all these alts, as these alts move up, we also move up and our liquidity pool gets bigger, and, like, the value of the liquidity pool increases. And that also, helps with the price going up and stabilizing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, like,
I love what Suresh actually kind of compared it to an ETF. Like, did you see that tweet?
He's not wrong. Yeah, he's not wrong. Like, the fact is, independent of anything that EverRise delivers over the coming years, it still is a collective, all of us, that holds 5 very popular blockchain native coins in substantial amounts. And so as people buy and sell and smash in and out of liquidity pools, if and when there is a dip, like we saw Phantom going down to almost, the teens in cents, like 20 cents. Most of us believe Phantom is going to be around for a long time. We know that Phantom Foundation is doing great work. And so I think a lot of us saw that as an opportunity for EverRise as a grand DeFi entity to just become a bigger stakeholder in Phantom. And we've done that. And now that Phantom is going up to 34 cents for whatever reason, we have a ton of Phantom. So that's good. And then that's on top of whatever deliverables that the team was able to achieve, which incentivizes the buying of the Rise token. So this is one of the reasons that Everbridge is just such a sensational dApp, and why many people believe that the future is multi-chain for any project. I agree. I think that over time, the allegiance to a particular chain is going to be kind of washed away as people realize that redundant systems are anti-fragile, and that even if one blockchain on which we sit were to go into total failure mode, which I don't believe it will, but if it were, we still are supported by the 4 other native assets that we hold. So we're well set up. We're a pentagram of stability, and it's exciting to see that spring-loaded liquidity pool take off when natives catch up to finally what we think that we've all been building all along.
Pisa, I'm going to get you a t-shirt with that phrase on it.
Pentagram stability.
No. Redundant systems are anti-fragile.
Yeah. It's not my phrase, but it's definitely one I like to repeat all the time, for sure.
Very good.
I can't see if we have any requests on Twitter Spaces.
No requests on Twitter Spaces. There is a question on the AMA channel in Discord, a quick one. We were talking about social engagement. Crypto Mickey wonders if it's possible to turn off the comments on our Facebook posts to deter scammers.
Ooh. TJ,
that's your bag.
Interesting. Yes, it is possible. I'm going to look into it. Obviously, one of the reasons that I personally don't like Facebook for crypto is because it's full of spammers. And as I've said time and time again, Meta really doesn't do anything about it. It's kind of rough and it sucks, but unfortunately, we need to have a presence everywhere. So turning off comments could be a good solution. I'm going to look into it. Thank you for the question/comment.
Yeah, definitely. The only counterpoint would be that we never want to do anything that frustrates engagement. And to the extent that Facebook is someone's only platform, that would be something we'd have to be concerned about. But yeah, right now, I haven't been on the Facebook in a bit, but I think it is proliferated with a bunch of scams and frauds and such. So certainly we'll take a look. Thanks, Mickey.
If anyone else has got any questions, please feel free to request to come up and ask myself or anyone else on the panel.
Anyone on YouTube? I'm not connected there now.
No, great conversation, I believe, in Spanish that I can't read, but I think Sergio's answered the question, so thank you, Sergio.
Nice.
The little bit that I did pick up that's in Spanish, I think, was asking if we could get subtitles in Spanish for these types of events. So maybe that's something for us to look into in the future. There's a way we can get live translation subtitles in multiple languages to play.
That'd be cool.
We could do that. Well, we could certainly encode on the fly, but not in multiple, because it would have to be done via the broadcast software. However, I believe that once YouTube is processed the video, it should automatically transcribe auto-generated subtitles. I'll look into that, but I believe that's the case. So if you are watching this after the event has happened on a replay, it should give you those captions.
In the meantime, we should point out that Enrique, our dearest lead moderator, and just all around do everything, has a Spanish language spaces every Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 5:30 p.m. UTC. So if you want to come and talk with the Spanish-speaking members of our community, feel free to drop by any Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, we've got a question here on YouTube from Davor D. Some burn mechanism in the future, ? Who would like to take that one?
I'll take it. There is a current burn mechanism. We call it the swirn, because the way it kind of generates is when people do not use EverSwap, which we should all use EverSwap, but if they use a direct interface with one of the DEXs, PancakeSwap, Uniswap, etc., on which we sit, the taxes that are, or rather the Rise tokens that are generated into the swap and liquefy for the Kraken are sort of earmarked for a burn. So you'll see these periodic 5 million Rise token burns that happen when a swap and liquefy attributable to non-EverSwap volume is triggered. So as to whether there's a plan to institute a contractual burn or a massive team token burn, the answer would be no. In the first part, what happens to the DeFi protocol is now exclusively up to the holders. And I don't think there's much appetite among the holders for a new tax to support a burn. And in the second part, I don't think the team is going to be launching a bunch of tokens into the burn wallet, because tokens have value for the time being and might one day be useful for more exchanges or other kind of promotions and stuff. So we do not aim to be a hyper deflationary token, because we plan to exist for 100 years. And so it's impossible for us to map out what the optimal supply is. You can always take things away, but you cannot create them once the contract exists. So we certainly intend to be pretty careful with our burn strategy, and it's not a part of the long-term solution for the time being. But thank you for the question.
Great question and great answer. It is almost 3 o'clock Eastern, so we will be wrapping up shortly. Just want to do a last call for questions. If anyone on Twitter Spaces wants to raise their hand and ask a question, if there is anything on YouTube or Discord, now is the time.
Nothing on YouTube, but thank you to Ron Kick in YouTube that was helping out translate there and translated the message for the spaces for Spanish speakers. Anything on Telegram, guys?
Telegram, not that I know of. I think we've pretty much covered all the text questions.
Perfect. Well, if no one else wants to request to come up, I just want to say to everybody, thank you for the amazing engagement, and please keep on retweeting, liking, and sharing our content that we put out there. Like, it's one thing myself, Jen, and the team making this content, for educational purposes, but if nobody's sharing it and talking about it, then it's very hard to get that message out there and obviously grow awareness of EverRise and the ecosystem within it. So thank you so much for all your support and sharing and being so active on social media. And I'm sure the rest of the team completely agree that you guys rock.
That's dead right, Jason. Now I have a new answer to the question, why are we pumping? It's because of all of you and all your hard work. Period. Full stop.
I love that, Peter. On that note, guys, I hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day. Thank you for joining us today. It's been a pleasure. Again, my apologies for nuking the space earlier, but everything kind of worked out. Keep tweeting. Keep talking about EverRise. Keep spreading the word about safety and security, because it is priority number one always. Hope everyone has a lovely rest of their day, and we'll see you here tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
And happy birthday again, Brian.
Woohoo!